Appreciate you clicking on this video. I just got done watching M Night Shyamalan's Trap. And with Trap, this is the latest M Night Shyamalan thriller following Josh Hartnett, who's playing a father taking his daughter to a concert. Everything seems to be going lovely and fine until he notices there's an odd amount of security at this concert. When asking an employee at the concert what's going on, he's greeted with the information that they're after a serial killer in town, the Butcher, and this entire concert is a trap to try and find him. The twist? Josh Hartnett is the serial killer. Oh, that's all. Pretty much without any spoilers to you guys. This will be a spoiler-free review, and that's the premise of the movie. That's the trailer they gave you, letting you know right off the bat the serial killer's in the concert, and the entire movie revolving around how he can escape. Oh man, I can tell you, while M Night Shyamalan is definitely a controversial director, he's had some hits, he's had some misses. Whatever your feeling on him is, I know some feel more strongly than others, I am always excited for an M Night Shyamalan movie because he just knows how to deliver a premise that sounds interesting. I thought Old sounded really cool as a movie where you get older as you're on a beach, and when I went to watch that movie, I absolutely hated it. But ever since then, we've gotten other projects, and man, when the trailer came out for Trap, this idea of a serial killer trapped in a concert, and he has to play this mind game with the police to try and escape, bro, you hooked me in. What an awesome idea. And this seemed like an obvious slam dunk for M Night Shyamalan. I'm like, okay, you got a great premise. You could do some cool stuff in there. Josh Hartnett looks fantastic in the trailers. What do you got for us? Is this gonna be one of your movies that lets people know M Night Shyamalan is frickin' back? No? But man, was this so close to greatness. Oh, I got so many thoughts on Trap and how I was so close to absolutely loving this movie. Let me get into the good about the movie. Starting off here, Josh Hartnett. Now, playing the serial killer, the man is divine. He plays this caricature of not only a charming father just wanting to have a nice fun evening out with his daughter that quickly has to go into work mode, aka serial killer mode, once he finds out the police are after him. That switch back and forth from lovely father trying to have a fun time to serious serial killer was some of the best parts of Trap. Anytime his face went from happy smiling father to then dead serious, paired along with the awesome cinematography of this movie. It looks really great. M Night Shyamalan gets super creative with what you can do in this concert atmosphere. There's some great uses of light, but not only that, I had a real fun time all throughout the moments we were in this concert, and Josh Hartnett as the Butcher just trying to figure out ways to one-up and gain information on top of the police. Like, seriously, there was parts of this movie that felt like they were a video game. Like if you were playing a character and you had to collect items, get through security, do little distractions just so you can obtain an objective. I got those vibes from Trapped, and I loved every second of that. You know, I saw some people really disappointed when they found out the movie was going to be PG-13. Although most M Night Shyamalan movies are PG-13, I feel like they do enough to keep that sinister, thrilling vibe through enough of the movie. I'm not going to say the majority of it, but it was present through enough of the movie that I was just glued, man. I was hooked. The first 40, 50 minutes of this movie, I was like, this is a winner. M Night Shyamalan is about to get so many people going, he's back! He's back! I'm back! I'm back! This character of the Butcher, the way M. Night has written him and the way Josh Hartnett plays him, if they want to do a ton of prequel movies about his early life or even just a movie centered around the crimes he was doing outside of the concert, I would honestly watch those. Because regardless of how I think you walk away coming out of this movie, either really disappointed or maybe enjoying it enough, I think everybody can agree that just Josh Hartnett as the Butcher is the best part of this film. Another thing I'm going to leave as a positive that I think is going to be a disappointment for some, but I think it's very much needed, and it looks like M. Night is kind of easing us into this. I wouldn't say this movie has a twist. You know, M. Night Shyamalan has been drawn to that no matter what. In fact, whenever the trailers for this movie started playing around, already saw all my movie mutuals trying to predict what the twist would be. Oh, is his daughter gonna end up being the serial killer? Oh, I bet you he's not even the killer and the Butcher's actually in the audience. What if he's a vampire? That was a real prediction I was seeing online. He's a vampire. But I think M. Night did something kind of clever in putting the twist up front and making that the beginning of the movie. Because although a lot of people thought it was a spoiler that the trailer revealed Josh Hartnett plays the killer, no, that's revealed pretty early on in the movie. They don't keep that a secret. And I think kind of shifting expectations, that just giving you this twist or letting you in on this premise ahead of time so you can just enjoy the ride, is a route that I do prefer M. Night to be on, because I think having your entire filmography built on what's your twist gonna be? Is it gonna blow our minds? And having that always be in the back of moviegoers' minds when seeing the movie, I don't think is always a wise move. You set yourself up for a lot of failure there. Now, that's not to say there isn't any reveals in the movie. There are some reveals, and you find out some information you didn't know, but I wouldn't say any of the reveals or stuff that happens is on the level of oh, what a twist. So keep that in mind when watching the film. It's pretty straightforward. And now I guess is where I move into the mixed to negative. Now, something that I was mixed on that I was quite enjoying for the first half of this movie is M. Night is kind of known for this cheesy dialogue, or just sometimes this cheesy humor peeks through. Sometimes that cheese factor and silliness overtakes a movie completely, like The Happening, where it just makes the entire movie feel like a parody and a nonsensical, while other times it adds a bit of charm. And Trap is no different. It has this kind of cheesy, silly factor. There's sometimes dialogue that is said awkwardly, or characters that act a little bit more exaggerated than they should. It didn't completely take away from some of the serious or thrilling moments, but it for sure was noticeable until it was too noticeable. Bringing me now into some of my negatives. Look, for the first 2/3 or even half of this movie, like I said, hooked in, really loving it. And then we get to some really odd plot points. Some of you might have known, M. Night Shyamalan has his daughter in this movie. She plays Lady Raven, the woman who's giving the concert and the celebrity in this universe. And for a moment, that outside perspective, paired along with the theme of some of the things Trap was touching upon, I thought was a really sweet move. Because I mean, this movie, for a point, is about a father and a daughter just trying to enjoy their day at a concert, have a good time together, and you are enjoying those moments between father and daughter where Josh Hartnett is telling a couple of dad jokes and the daughter's all excited to be with her pops and she's having trouble at school and her dad's helping her out. It's like really sweet moments. And just to know behind the scenes, M. Night also put his daughter in the movie and has her as the celebrity doing the concert. It's like, oh, this double layered thing. Trap is almost like a tribute to M. Night and his daughters. I was like, oh, that's kind of sweet. And then they leaned a little too far in that, and M. Night's daughter becomes a larger plot of the movie. And all those elements where this celebrity singer in the movie becomes a larger part of the film, it lost me, man. I really hate to be a dick, because I know if I was a father and I had that position of power and I could cast my own future daughter in a movie, do it in a heartbeat, don't care what you say. So I totally get M. Night doing this, but man, she's no actress. I hear she actually is a singer in real life, and though M. Night's kind of trying to prop up her singing career in this movie, which, hey, I don't blame you, daddy. Do what you need to for your daughter. But no offense, she's not the greatest actress. And that just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb for a lot of the movie when she's a focus of it. It also feels just like such a late addition character to shift away the focus from this father-daughter pairing that seemed like the obvious theme of the movie, and then kind of getting rid of that and focusing now on the director's daughter. And then moving past that, I was talking about this movie had a bit of silliness to it, some cheese, a little bit of lighthearted humor. That silliness and cheese just gets cranked up to 10 in the third act, and it becomes ridiculously silly and foolish. There's a lot of things in here that kind of make you cringe from secondhand embarrassment, where you could just feel like the plot is stretching in all kinds of ways and it's starting to overstay its welcome. It feels like if this movie was honestly 20-30 minutes shorter, you'd have a much more solid movie. And also if it stayed focused on the direction it was going in, because then it just really goes off the rails and in different directions in that third act. And it feels like that ends up always being the recurring problem with M. Night Shyamalan, right? He's got a great premise. He delivers on a lot of those promises and things you were hoping for to see with the premise, but it's nailing that third act, that finale, wrapping everything up in a nice bow. And those are the parts that really stand out about this movie. And again, what's so frustrating about it with Trap is this movie was just like a few plot points and just cutting down some of that stuff from being a great movie. Probably an all-timer for M. Night, if I'm being honest. Because even throughout some of these messy parts in the third act and it's shifting focus from this character to this character, this story point and that story point, all throughout it, Josh Hartnett is still killing it as the Butcher, man. Like, this guy is like, dude, I just want to keep seeing stuff with you involved because you're playing that role really well. So yeah, yeah, there's a slight bit of disappointment with me when it comes to Trap, because the movie was something I was really excited about from the looks of all those trailers, and when most of the movie turned out being great, I hate that the finale didn't turn out being exactly what I was hoping. If you're someone who's not a fan of M Night Shyamalan's work, this isn't going to be a movie to change your mind. This is going to end up being some of the stuff that you dislike from him, but I think fans of M Night are still going to find lots of enjoyment with this, because I'm not willing to say the movie was awful. Still a lot to enjoy, and Josh Hartnett's performance alone makes it worth a watch, but it's overall that frustrating factor that, man, if you just would have changed this and this about the ending and didn't focus so much about that, dude, could have been close to a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 movie. So when it comes to Trap, I'm going to give action 2 stars. Since a lot of this movie takes place at a concert and the character has to figure out sneaky ways to get around the cops, there's not like much fighting or car chase sequences or anything like that, but the few things that this butcher does to distract the police I thought were entertaining. Comedy in the movie, I'm going to give it 3 stars. Some of that is for intentional humor thrown into the movie, you know, like the little bits of dad jokes Josh Hartnett throws out, but then there's other times of just awful dialogue, poor acting, and just some really silly characters that get you laughing when I don't think the movie was trying to make you laugh. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 3 stars, and that's mainly due to this butcher character and Josh Hartnett's performance. That really has you glued in and interested. Unfortunately, that plot and everything going on falls apart towards the end, but for the most part, it is interesting to see unfold. Horror in the movie, I'll give 1 star to, because this is PG-13, they did hold back on some stuff. I think you still have a great sinister atmosphere with Josh Hartnett, and there really is only like one horrific thing that happens to a person, but still pretty tamed for a horror movie. 3 stars for suspense. I would have liked to have given it more, but it's that third act and the movie continuing on past a certain point that where it just doesn't feel that necessary. It starts to really lose that suspense and kind of go all over the place. Characters that were important become irrelevant, new people become important, and they jump back and forth. Casual moviegoers, I'm gonna give this a B+. I think it still has you hooked on for most of the movie. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-, especially those who are hoping for some sort of huge big M Night Shyamalan twist. They're gonna be disappointed when there really isn't even one. And critics, I'm gonna give it a C+. While they're gonna enjoy Josh Hartnett's performance and the cinematography of this movie, I think the story and silliness factor is really gonna deter some critics from enjoying this one. So overall for Trapped, this isn't M Night Shyamalan at his worst. It's close to him at his best. That paired with enough of the saving graces of the movie, like Josh Hartnett's performance, I think it's worth watching in theaters. Again, that's just my opinion on the movie, guys, but I'd love to hear from you. It turned out just to be enjoyable when I thought it was so close to greatness, but did you guys hate it, love it? I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3CFilms or on TikTok at 3CFilms. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.